When this album came out in August '94, it was such a smack in the face.
As a debut album, there isn't many that are going to get anywhere close to it, actually.
It's always in there, in the top 20 of favourite, you know, the best album, you know, because of the impact I think it had at the time.
It worked for them brilliantly. It's one of the most iconic and best albums of the 90s.
We were ready for something different, and that something different needed to be aggressive.
Quite rightly and uniformly, everyone was like, wow, this is brilliant. This is a shot in the arm British pop and rock music needs.
It showed the world what they were in for. And I think for that respect, you'd have to say you should have it in your collection if you've got any sort of sense about you, about that whole era of music and the rebirth of guitar music, really.
If you're taking the 10 greatest British rock albums of the 90s, Oasis would have 2 in there. And definitely Maybe is one of them.
Why do you think that Definitely Maybe is the fastest selling indie release in UK history?
It's good.
For years and years and years, music had been so po-faced and so up its own arse. And I think Oasis were the band that brought music back to people. The feel of that album and the singles that you had from that album, oh God, they're timeless, really.
The songs were so classic. The songs, just one listen through to the album and you knew you were listening to something special. 2 listens through and you can't imagine where you've heard those songs before.
It's in there amongst all the best debut albums. It's a cracking record.
You go back to it and you listen to it and you still get a euphoric rush when you hear some of those songs again because you've forgotten.
You'd go round a mate's house and Definitely Maybe was playing. You couldn't escape the album. It was just one of those that by default everyone seemed to have. If you were in any way addicted to rock music or something that wasn't sugary and sweet, you would have to have that album, and it became the soundtrack of many young people's lives back then.
It was just so in your face, and it was very, very, very special as a record. And as I say, as debuts go, I can't think of many that come close.
You're not down with who I am. Look at you now, you're all in my hands tonight.
Definitely Maybe is one of the best-selling British albums of all time. Oasis made a debut with their middle finger, declaring themselves top dogs of the Britpop pack. The record captured the times absolutely, heralding the rise of lad culture and Britpop with killer tunes that celebrated working-class Britain with a new kind of euphoria. Definitely Maybe had a phenomenally bolshy confidence, and with Noel Gallagher's brilliant songwriting and brother Liam's inimitable snarl and cocksure charisma, Oasis were onto a winner from the start.
Originally they were a band called Rain, and Noel had been on tour in America, I think, with Spiral Carpets, and had come back to find his brother Liam in a band which was essentially all the rest of Oasis. But he said that, you know, if he was going to be in the band, that he had to be the main songwriter and the leader of the band. And surprisingly, without them beating him to death, they agreed. So
the group was already up and running before Noel joined. What was it like having your big brother come in and take over?
It was his saving grace.
He was having it, but he weren't running. He weren't really going anywhere. Right. It was good. It was needed. You know what I mean? Like people going, "Oh yeah, but how do you feel about him taking over?" He's took over the songs. You know what I mean? He's not took over the way the band's run. Right. Or way I'm going to run my life. He's not took over me.
Yes, I have.
No, he hasn't. He took over the structure of the songs and the way the songs should be, which is right. Yeah. Gives a bit of discipline. But he's not took over the vocals, the guy who stands in front of that, but he's not took over that, because that's me. Nice one.
With a decent amount of tried and tested songs under their belts, Oasis started recording their debut album with Dave Batchelor, who produced the sensational Alex Harvey Band. Batchelor was brought in by Noel, but it didn't work out. The sound was overproduced and lost the sparkle and raw edge of their demos.
They originally went to Mono Valley in Wales to begin work on what was going to become Definitely Maybe. But they weren't happy with the way things were turning out, and the recording sessions didn't go very well. I think they only got one song out of it, and they were being made to record kind of like one at a time, and it wasn't how they'd envisaged it and not how Noel wanted to do it.
Quite often this happens when you get your deal, the money's there from the label. It wouldn't have been a huge amount of money, but it was enough to do an album. And there were, people were being tight with the budgets around about that time. So they tried some recording in a few studios, and of course it just didn't quite work. Some of the producers want to do things separately, where you spend a lot of time on the drums, then you do bass player, and then the way they used to do it. And it doesn't really work with a band like Oasis. They need a live situation.
Dave Batchelor, who produced the very early sessions, came in for a lot of stick for supposedly cleaning up the sound too much. And I can relate to that because I've had a bit of that myself, as it happens. But the early sessions at Mono Studios in Monmouth and even at the legendary Olympic Studios in Barnes failed to produce anything that was any good. So they went to a studio in the Fowey Estuary called Sawmills, where access was via a ferry, which must have been even a little boat. So this must have been a little bit strange. But the fact of the matter is they were tucked out of the way there, and they were able to record in a more open, relaxed atmosphere. And it worked very, very well for them.
You can go in there, it's a lockout studio in the middle of nowhere, down in Fowey, and off you go. There's no real outside influence, there's no clubs nearby. You find a club, it's a working men's, a fisherman's club or something, and they're certainly not welcome in there. So there's nothing to do, you just work. So from the moment you drag yourself out of your sweaty pit, you work until you throw yourself back in it. And it's just all you do all day is record. And it was the perfect environment for them to just get away from it all and just bang out basically a live album, practically a live album.
Separation was not to be an issue here. They didn't take care to make sure that not one track bled onto another one, that the guitars just all merged into this big wash of sound. And it was incredibly successful.
I think it's a true production. I think it's an honest production. And I think that's another reason why the fan base was so huge when people heard it. It was like, wow, what is this? This is real.
They're up at it in your face, fueled on God knows what, and sounding like they know they're making a record for a generation.
The drum sound was great. The drum sound was very, very tough. The guitars dominated. This wall of guitars was up front, and it absolutely just thrust out of the speakers and blew you away. From the first time you heard Rock and Roll Star, you tended to forget that it wasn't a Grammy-winning production, but it was just a great, filthy noise, and it's really what we needed back at that time.
It's quite loud, the record. You compare it to other records at the time, it was loud, it was in your face. But that's what they needed. They want this wall of sound, and it's adequate, the production. I wouldn't say it was groundbreaking by any chance.
The basic sessions at Sawmills lasted for 10 days, and the reputed cost for the whole album was $75,000, which for a rock album back then was actually very, very good indeed when you consider the amount of re-recording that was done. It started again from scratch. So 10 days, 10 very productive days at Sawmills.
Bring It On Down was mooted to be the first single, but after they put down Supersonic, it became obvious that this was the hit. The surging Phil Spector-like sound of Supersonic and the very title itself captured the mood of the times perfectly.
need to be myself. I can't be no one else. I'm feeling supersonic. Give me gin and tonic. You can have it all, but how much do you want it? You make me laugh. Give me your autograph. Can I ride with you in your BMW? You can sail with me in my yellow submarine. You need to find out, 'cause no one's gonna tell you what I'm on about. You need to find a way for what you wanna say. But before tomorrow, 'cause my friend said he'd take you home. He sits in the corner all alone. He lives under waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody could ever hear him call.
So Supersonic is just about grabbing it, you know, living your life to the max, and that comes through. It comes through in the lyrics. It comes through in the sound of the song.
Well, it's got a big riff. It's got the big riff, and like a lot of their songs, it's got anthemic type chorus.
It's a blueprint for living life the Oasis way, isn't it? You know, it's like, this is what we're about. You're coming along for the ride, you know, and a lot of people did. It made you feel supersonic listening to them. Probably helped if you had a line of Charlie up your nose at the time, but...
You need to find a way for what you want to say. But before tomorrow, 'cause my friend said he'd take you home. He sits in the corner all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody could ever hear him call. Nobody could ever hear him call. Nobody could ever hear him call. Nobody could ever hear him call.
Supersonic had a sort of a lovely edge to it. It had this great sort of tongue-in-cheek lyric about basically sort of saying you can you can have what you want and it's all fine. And there's some silly rhymes in there.
Supersonic's hip quality is the fact that it has the most nonsense lyrics of any song that's ever been a hit in Great Britain. Supersonic, gin and tonic, she can have it all, how much she wants it. You know, it's hilarious, the lyrics to that song, in that it really does seem to be someone is just coming up with as many words they can rhyme with as possible. It's hilarious.
She done it with the doctor on a helicopter. She's sniffing in a tissue, selling the big issue when she finds out. No one's gonna tell her what I'm on about.
You know, I couldn't tell you what many Oasis songs were about. That song, I have no idea. Helicopters and tissues and I don't know what else is on that one, but you know, they're not a lyric band for me, and I think that's quite important because I don't even think they think they're a lyric band.
I know a girl called Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer. She sniffs it through a cane on a supersonic train, and she makes me laugh. I got her autograph.
Our lyrics, I mean, they do mean so much to people, I know they do. But I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why supersonic means something to people. It means nothing to me, you know, but I mean, it's all there for the listener, you know, and that's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's about them. You know, it's what they get from it that matters, not us. I mean, because we can get, you know, we get to buy nice clothes and we go and travel the world and all that. And what do they get? You know, they get the music. So it's what we can give to them, you know, really.
It's the music and what it sounds like and the atmosphere it creates and the feeling that it creates in people. We're not looking at it, you know, studying it, thinking that it's some perfect piece of art. Oasis is all about feelings. It's all about, you know, Saturday night. It's all about being in love with the best person in the world, and then the next minute them not liking you. You know, it's about that. It's not about, you know, the rhyming structure was very, very clever. You know, it's about the feelings that they make up with the songs, I think.
What was important about Supersonic is the fact that it was in the key of B. Now, the key of B is a fantastically hard rock key for guitars. Often overlooked by other groups, but they were quite fond of writing in this particular key, and it permeated a kind of up sound, a kind of a tension that, with that critically important groove of 101 beats per minute, just got inside the brain, and it was just irresistible.
But it's got a killer chorus in it. It's you know, it's just got hooks all over it. So, and that's Noel's skill, is just throwing that hook line in. You listen to the start of the song, you think, well, where's this going? He got you.
My friend said to take you home, sits in a car all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him, nobody could ever hear him call. Nobody could ever hear him call.
Their stage presence was brash, overconfident, but very exciting.
Performance doesn't rate too highly, or an approach to performing never seems to rate too highly from Oasis, and never has done. They just appear and perform their material and go. There's no sort of rock and roll showmanship.
They were never the standard rock cliche band. They didn't do any of that posturing that you would expect. And I like them for that, and I think they brought this whole new manner about British rock music at the time. It all became a bit scruffy, and a bit you know, dressed down rather than, you know, super show bands.
I'd love to ask them why they chose to do that, because for some people getting up on stage is all about escapism, but for them it's obviously not. For them there's something else, because they don't feel the need to do very much beyond taking their perfunctory stance, and really sort of that's about it. Whether it's they truly feel their material is so good that carries them, you know, or whether it's a class-related thing that, you know, they don't ever want to forget where they came from, and that doesn't have much to do with being a multi-millionaire rock star. I don't know what the reasons are, but the you know, Oasis live, and certainly the Gallagher's live performance, you know, is pretty static and hasn't changed very much over the years.
They had this lovely, full-on wall of sound stage presence. There was nothing pretty about it. Just standing there, you know. But people liked it because they had great songs. So therefore, they just let it stand there and let it wash over you, you know.
Around your
if I could sit down in a room with Noel or Liam, you know, have a serious discussion about stagecraft, I'd really be interested to know. Well, I'm not saying that they should do anything different at all. I mean, I love seeing Oasis, but you know, they strike a very different pose to a lot of other bands. It's almost a slight disinterest in a way. And is that arrogance, or was it born of stage fright and they've never developed beyond it? Just, you know, I'd really be interested to know.
Liam's style was great. The way he used to work at the microphone without his hands touching the mic all the time, which was an interesting thing. He used to stand there with a cocky, arrogant pose, which was quite different from some of the other singers who just used to get hold of the microphone and work that.
Liam Gallagher will stand there and he will just look straight into the audience's eye. And it's just the coolest thing that you'd ever see.
There's nothing particularly refined around his stage performance, yet he's made it very much his own.
Liam just brings the swagger of the street to, you know, I mean, literally, I doubt very much if there's anything different to Liam Gallagher walking down the street to the Liam Gallagher stood there with his hands behind his back, singing his heart out for Oasis. And you do kind of get this, like, what you see is what you get feel from him, and that's something that people that are into music, that they latch onto very quickly and they like, because they don't want to be pissed around, they don't want to be bullshitted.
He's not the sort of person to sit and do his warm-ups and go, right, I'm ready, I'm now ready to perform. He's not like that. You know, he'll kick your head in and then go out and shout a bit. So, but he has this great presence on stage where he's just kind of, it's sort of slovenly, I don't know what the word is, and he just sort of saunters around and it's quite sort of, yeah, what? And that's his whole thing, and it kind of, you know, see, he's quite watchable like that, you know. I find it quite humorous.
It's almost an anti-showmanship kind of thing. The lack of celebrity glitz, that they just wander on stage in you know, looking for all intents and purposes like their crowd, which forges the bond between them and their audience.
Things were moving fast for Oasis. They were still playing the small toilet circuit, but they were rammed now, the gigs, and fans were having to queue round the block to catch a glimpse. Word was spreading like wildfire, and that summer, Oasis played Glastonbury after a few days of the release of Shaker Maker. It was their first ever big gig with mainstream exposure, and they took off big time.
Just wanna fly lately. Did you ever feel the pain in the morning rain as it soaks you to the bone? Maybe I just wanna fly, wanna live but don't wanna die. Maybe I just wanna breathe. Maybe I just don't believe. Maybe you're the same as me. We see things I'll never see.
they just blew everyone away when they played Glastonbury for the first couple of years. But the first time, you know, it's always that first time people go back to, because of course it's never happened before.
They Saturday night at Glastonbury quite quickly, I think. So probably a bit too quickly. But there was a great gig. I mean, everybody was raving about it afterwards, you know.
I was at the side of the stage watching Oasis at Glastonbury because that would have been in June, and I'd seen them for the first time in April. I mean, I think they must have thought about that gig is that they must have been nervous for that gig, because I believe it was the first time that they'd played outside, and it was their first festival. And for Glastonbury to be your sort of first one, but they honestly played that gig like they owned it.
One of the things that seemed to be the thing with Oasis, they don't get fazed by, you know, you're doing Glastonbury, there's going to be 300,000 people there. Great.
And I can even remember exactly what Liam Gallagher was wearing, because he had a dark jumper on with the collars coming out. And I remember the little bit, you know, the bottom of the shirt coming out at the bottom of the things. And there was, you know, everybody was completely covered in mud, looking like shit. And he was on stage looking like an absolute rock star. They stole that gig at Glastonbury, and I think that's a real important one for them, because that was a band on their debut album as well. They just came in, played the songs, bit of I Am the Walrus, I'm sure, at the end, and totally took Glastonbury. And I think that's a really important gig for them as the history went on. And Glastonbury they've come back to from time to time, and sometimes it hasn't worked particularly well for them. But that first one, they were absolutely amazing. And what really pisses me off is that any of the famous pictures that they've got are always taken by a fella who was standing next to me. So you can see on the other side of the stage all these people who can say they were there, and I was standing next to the guy who was taking the picture, so I was really pissed off. Didn't get any.
These could be the best days of our lives, but I don't think we'd be living very wise. I said, oh no, what a life it would be if you could come to mind could see. I think you were, but at that sweet, well, hapless side.
Although they played a good set, there were reports that actually the weekend, the Glastonbury weekend that year, belonged to Blur. Certainly Oasis acquitted themselves very well. All of the first album material was acquitted very well indeed. But maybe not one of their most memorable gigs, in my opinion.
Now I know much about the way I feel. I paint you the picture, cause I don't think you live round here no more. I've never even seen the key to the door. We only got what we were settled for. While we're living, the trees we have as children fade away.
Glastonbury, of course, in the last sort of 20 years has become an all-important place to score points.
Too much is made of Glastonbury because as an event and people playing it, they're you know, in general. But when you're talking about Oasis's first performance there, it was, you know, it was kind of crowning glory moment.
They showed everybody what they were capable of when they played at Glastonbury, and they were taken seriously, you know, by a lot more people after that.
I'd like to be somebody else, and I know where I've been. I'd like to build myself a house out of plasticine. Shake around with me. I've been driving in my car with my friend Mr. Sound, Mr. Green and Mr. Ben are living in my love.
Shaker Maker was the second single in '94 with that Harrison-esque intro, very reminiscent of the Beatles' You Can't Do That. It was a slow 95 beats per minute plod. Again in the key of B, they've revisited that key that's so hard and was so right for Liam's voice.
Shaker Maker is, it's not as good a song as Supersonic by any means, but it's got a great edge to it. It's got a great chorus, even though I can't stand the verse, which is, you know, some old pop song from the 60s or 70s or something, reconstituted into a song. You can't get away from the fact that Shaker Maker does sound a little bit like a very well-known fizzy drink commercial tune, and it's therefore is already a readily associated melody for people.
I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Reminds me a little bit of that.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to guide the world of gold to keep it company. Shake along with me.
A funny choice of a single, I thought, Shaker Maker, and it really is with Supersonic. It was the second Oasis single, I do believe, Shaker Maker, and again the lyrics are just, you know, don't look at the lyrics too hard with that song.
Nonsense lyrics, the Shaker Maker toy, Trebor soft mints, and the reference to the local record shop. So just lyrics picked out of the air, just any old thing if you like.
It's just got a great vibe to it. It's got a dirty edge to it, you know. It's got this whole thing, this sort of menacing sort of approach that Oasis were capable of, you know. And I don't think it's anywhere near as good a song as Supersonic.
I don't think it was necessarily better or worse than Supersonic. I think it was just different, and it was successful because they were starting to really have a buzz about them at that particular time.
More people know who Oasis are, more people are hearing them, more people are liking them, you know, and they do write wonderfully catchy songs.
But it's anthemic and it's memorable. That'll do for me. That'll do nicely.
Not one of my favourite songs on the album, actually. It's Shaker Maker, but you know, I mean, it's on that album, so it's a good song, really.
Shake along with me.
The touring now took in hotel trashing, drug taking, good times and serious fights. The press relished the brothers' bad boy behaviour. A series of interviews had Noel and Liam arguing and fighting and baiting each other. Oasis were the walking, talking reincarnation of the type of rock star that the British press dream of.
You like to do a bit of rock and roll behaviour in your hotels?
Sometimes, just on occasions, right. Not all the time, because some hotels are that. There was one, and it just started through the Columbia. This is when it all started.
Right. But everyone goes to the Columbia
yeah,
interest.
Exactly. That's what does my head in.
Right.
But in there, it was all right at first. You're meeting all these bands, and you're not having a, you know what I mean? And then after a bit, you're thinking.
They should be putting us up in better hotels than
I was there sleeping there.
So we thought, well, why not just try and get bad? So we got bad, so now they don't put us in there no more.
And it's cool.
More power to the artist.
Don't think you got to be careful though, with that sort of behaviour, because I mean, it can turn you into like sort of a cartoon type character.
Yeah, I know.
That like a would-be audience might be turned off the idea of checking Oasis out because they're these guys that do the rock and roll thing.
I know, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Bonehead started it first, and he's on top. I hate it when he done it, and I thought, no, don't do it, because this is what it's not about that. You know what I mean? Leave that to all them retro people.
Hotel trashers.
I think they were banned from, funnily enough, the Columbia Hotel, which was a rock hotel in London. They were getting thrown out of places all over the country, all over Europe, and yet The fans didn't seem to mind this air of danger about them. I think this contributed to that mystery, to that rebel image that the young people loved so much.
If you indulge in that kind of deliberate antisocial behaviour, it will have a slightly detrimental effect. But more often than not, most people don't care that you're pictured doing that, stumbling out of a nightclub, because quite frankly, it's what they would do if someone was taking a photo of them stumbling out of a nightclub.
Constantly we were hearing in the press about the bickering between Noel and Liam.
There's always going to be a rivalry between that, especially when one of them is the supposed talent. You know, with Noel Gallagher is the supposed, you know, he was the songwriter in Oasis, he was the talent. What was Liam then? And that must have been very, very, very hard for them to, you know, it's hard enough having a brother or sister anyway, but to be in the biggest band in the world, for one person to have all the talent, yet the one face or the one finger gesture that everyone knew it was Liam's, I think that's going to be a very, very complicated thing.
Anything was a daft song, that won't work right, that won't be right. Let's do what we're doing. What? Like Guigsy's Dinner, it's an acoustic song. Yeah, let's have it.
Hang on a sec. Right, so we,
Say what we'll do, we'll do sad song last, yeah? So you can just play your little game. Alright? There's days when I've needed a slap and he's slapped me. And there's days when he's needed a slap, so I've slapped him. I went on a big fight, we haven't talked for about 2 months. Nothing like that. Just like that. And then we just sort of like grown up one day. We can't work it out. We can't work it out.
They have been at each other's throats at times, you know, throughout their career. And there has been times when maybe the band came that close to maybe not, you know, being anymore. But when it works and when they are together and when they both are brothers saying, do you know what, we've just made the best album in the world, it even makes it more believable.
Of course, the stories about conflict and violence went on and on and on. There's one famous one in '94 in Newcastle at a gig where a drunken yob got on stage and I think he attacked Noel, and that was it. Liam waded in, and after about 5 songs, the gig was over.
This geezer took it upon himself to jump up on stage through security. He punched me in the eye with like this ring on or something, and there was a bit of blood everywhere. Really? So he just sort of took the guitar.
Was he just overexcited, or had you done something to him? No, maybe it's just because he thinks he's hard and he thinks we're up for the fight and that. Right. And he thought, yeah, I'll have this.
Well, it was actually because he found out I was sleeping with his girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nice one.
The whole vulgar, unruly persona became their image, and they thrived on it. They appealed to the soccer yobs. They appealed to the young man who goes down the pub. They were no different, really, in that respect from the early Who or the Stones or loads of other bands that were around like that at that particular time.
You need that. You do need it. Because there's too many bloody boring rock and pop stars out there who do what they're told by record company and management, you know, and quite frankly make the most insipid, boring music imaginable. And that's one thing that you can never accuse Oasis of.
And the reason why we're in every paper is because there's something to write about. We're playing the game, and we mean it, and we're honest, and we've got the best songs, so that's why we're in everyone's face.
As the nation warmed to the Gallagher's band, the third single, the soaring anthem Live Forever, was released in August. Little wonder that it became a major hit. It was their loudest, proudest statement so far, the perfect song to prime the nation for the album release.
Maybe I don't really want to know how your garden grows, 'cause I just want to fly. Lately, did you ever feel the pain in the morning rain as it soaks you to the bone? Maybe I just wanna fly, wanna live but don't wanna die. Maybe I just wanna breathe, maybe I just don't believe. Maybe you're the same as me, we see things I'll never see. You and I are gonna live forever. I said maybe I don't really wanna know how you
Live Forever got to number 10 in the UK in August '94, and I seem to remember it was never out of the charts. It seemed to hang around forever.
I think Live Forever is a wonderful song.
When you listen to it, it's probably where they were going. And so you listen to that and you think, this is... Because when you had the first two singles, they were good, but when that came out, it's like, what a song.
That beat at the start, actually, I mean, Tony McCarroll, one thing that he did do very, very good was that boom, 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 boom at the start of the song, because it's an instantly recognisable song. You know, from the intro, you literally, I'll name that song in, one beat. Fantastic song. It sort of shows what Oasis were going to become later on, in that the way they, it did have that punky sort of attitude, but it had a really very sensitive side to it, I think. And the lyrics, I thought, were an awful lot better.
It's considered to be an ode to Peggy Gallagher, their mother, although Noel has said it's just about a couple of friends. It's a simple song, just lovely simple chord structure in G, and it shows that there was a deeper side to them, if you like. Still quite aggressive, still quite raunchy, but I think Noel was particularly proud of it. He's gone in print as saying that this shows people that Oasis are basically, there's a little bit more depth to them than people at first surmised. Great song, one of the most memorable Oasis songs.
Maybe I will never be all the things that I want to be. Now is not the time to cry. Now's the time to find out why. I think you're the same as me. We see things I'll never see. You and I are gonna live forever.
Definitely Maybe's an album of many peaks, Live Forever is another sort of statement like Supersonic, really. It's like, I'm young, I'm free, and I can do this for as long as I want kind of thing. It's their hope I die before I get old statement. Townsend didn't really hope he was dead before he was old. He was making a statement about how great it was to be young. And that's really what Noel Gallagher's doing. And Liam's perfectly happy to echo.
It's like a dream, it's like a fantasy song. And it doesn't matter what happens, we're going to live forever. And it's that whole belief in yourself, that whole thing it sells you. And it's a great song. And you knew when you heard that there was better to come. Because you can quite often tell with a band on their first record if they're going to produce the goods on the next one. And I think they knew they had something up their sleeve then when you hear that song. It's a great, great record.
I think Liam Gallagher sings that song fantastically, especially the high bits which you wouldn't usually expect from him. I think absolutely fantastic song, fantastic single as well, and definitely a Dave Thompson karaoke favourite.
Maybe I will never be all the things that I wanna be. Now is not the time to cry. Now's the time to find out why. I think you're the same as me.
I did actually win a bottle of Ouzo in Corfu in 2004, singing Live Forever, so it's always going to be a favourite.
Definitely Maybe was released in August 1994. It was the fastest selling debut in British history, entering the charts at #1. They were on a trajectory that would see them become the biggest band in Britain.
Definitely Maybe, I think, was the fastest selling debut album up until then.
The album was phenomenally well received. It was the fastest selling UK album, which sold something like 100,000 in just 4 days.
Quite rightly and uniformly, everyone was like, wow, this is brilliant. This is a shot in the arm British pop and rock music needs.
It just pressed buttons with a certain age group of people. and then even press buttons with age groups that were slightly older. It was maybe harking back to, oh, well, that reminds me of a bit, there's some tracks in there that sound a bit sort of 60s-ish.
Guys my age were buying it, which is quite something. It wasn't just younger people buying it. Everybody was buying it because everybody wanted it. It reminded a lot of people of what they were into previously.
No one was doing anything like Oasis when they turned up, and although perhaps you couldn't have said before they arrived that was exactly what was required, I think you kind of knew. There was such this blandola kind of sort of thing. I mean, rock music had grunge, and Kurt Cobain had just died, so there was a hole to fill anyway in '94, and Oasis filled it.
The country was so desperate. The general, especially in Britain, the buying public wanted a new rock band that they could either love or hate them. But that's what people wanted it.
In a sense, Oasis had brought back quite a bit of rock and roll, just basic rock and roll, to the public, and because the Beatles, remember, come from humble beginnings, so there was a similarity there. Here's another band from humble beginnings, and people like that. We like a good victory in this country. We don't have that many of them.
Cigarettes and Alcohol was the brilliant last anthem from the album, released in October 1994.
I think Cigarettes and Alcohol should have been our national anthem.
It's what they're about. Booze and fags.
I can hear you laughing there, but I do think it should have been, because it was written about two of the things in life that people love more than anything else.
That's what they're saying. We go to the pub and smoke tabs just like everyone else does.
It's about excess, but not necessarily lauding or condoning excess. When he says you may as well do the white line, it's like resignation, if you like. Okay, everything else is going wrong, you may as well do it, mate.
Bollocks to it all. We're all right. You might as well, you read the lyrics and it's like, you might as well do the white line. Because what else is there to live for? Who cares? That's how people live their lives, and there's nothing wrong with it. You've got your beer, you've got your cigarettes and the odd bit of hooter at the weekend. That's how they live their life, and they're perfectly happy doing it.
If Mad for It, which was the Oasis slogan for so long, was personified in a song, it would be Cigarettes and Alcohol. Go and do whatever fuck you want to do with your life. Go and enjoy it. We're going to be here, whether you're in life for 20 years, you're in life in 70 years, go out and grab the best of it.
The song basically appealed to student working class life, young people that were on the dole, that could totally relate with this whole image of cigarettes and alcohol. Just let's live life to the full. There's bugger all else going on in our lives. And I think it appealed to the working class males very much, it totally endeared them to Oasis, and this was an important marketplace for them.
It's worth the aggravation to find yourself a job when there's nothing worth working for. It's a crazy situation, but all I need are cigarettes and alcohol.
It's talking about British life. It's talking about the fact that you're going to go out on a Friday night and there's going to be people who are going to lose their minds and just go out there and live and have a fantastic night. We're always told about, is it a pro-drug song? Is it a pro-alcohol song? Is it a pro-cigarette song? No, not necessarily. It's about going out there and giving it some, having the best time you possibly can on a night out. I think that's what it's about, and I think that should be praised. I think we're told so many things in the world that are bad for us, scaremongering everything. Do we forget what it's like to go out and have a fantastic night, having the smoke, having the drink with your mates? You forget about it sometimes, and that song reminded me very much so. I mean, it should have been the national anthem. Our national anthem was so boring, and I just think that would have been so. You can imagine, Pete, you can imagine getting your head going down like that whenever we win a medal at the Olympics to that song. I think it'd be brilliant.
Oasis were a major chart band now. They were armed with the anthems, the attitude and bullish views about rivals like Blur, and this only compounded their appeal. Funny, honest and abrasive, Oasis were everyone's idea of the ultimate rock and roll band.
You've got to look at Oasis as being one of the best modern day hard rock bands that England's ever produced.
Oasis had to be massive. Oasis if they hadn't been, I think it would have been one of the big crimes against humanity if Oasis hadn't been massive.
Had the band together, Noel joined the band, world domination, here's A, let's get to Z. And they just went there. Because they went there pretty fast.
We are the kings of the crop, and you lot are following us. That's what they were about.
The attitude that they had, they would have made them... it would have been life. They'd have been seeing therapists for the rest of their lives if they hadn't have been successful, because they were so bloody sure they were going to get it.
They were the young upstarts that rode into town, rode everyone else out of town, and then when they rode out of town, everyone else was following them. They were a breath of fresh air, to a sort of pop and rock scene that, was in need of a good kick up the arse. And along come a band who sound like a cross between the Beatles meets the Sex Pistols, and it worked a treat.
There we were.